Is web dev dead? I think is the wrong question. The better question is software engineering dead? Let me ask you this. Do you see more softwares being created today or less? That leads to a bigger point. What exactly is software engineering? And how is it different from web development people are talking about? Why is everyone suddenly saying that critical thinking, system design, and design systems matter more than ever? To tie up all this together, let's quickly zoom out and look at how software is actually built, the software development lifecycle. And don't worry, I won't bore you with a textbook definition of the software development lifecycle. I will show you how it actually works in the real world from my own experience, and I will try to give you the full picture of how software development cycle actually happens. So let's get started. So let's start with software development lifecycle in the real world. So just to remind you, this is one of the two most important things I want you to take away from this video. One is this, second we'll cover it up next. That is how I am approaching front-end development in 2026. But let's focus on this first. So how it all starts. It starts with user stories. To make it simple, I've divided into four parts, like what each step is, who is responsible for that step, and who actually works on this in the company. Next is skills which are required to complete that particular step. Next is the result, the output of that particular step. First is user stories. What these are? These are actual problems, features a company is trying to solve. Who is responsible for it? Mostly bosses, product managers in the companies. They talk to the real users or understand the data, and then they define these problems and features. They take interviews. This is what we are called as user stories. The actual problem we are trying to solve. Who is responsible? Boss and PMs. The skills which are required are communication and analysis. You have to communicate with the users. You have to read the data. You have to listen to the market. So all this comes under the communication, and then you have to analyze it. The result is a problem solution understanding of what you are building. Next, after user stories, you have requirements. What are requirements? What exactly we are building? The real clarity on things, the solutions we are building. Who is responsible? Again, bosses or the product managers. Next, what skills are required? It requires critical thinking. You have to understand out of all the problems, all the solutions, which one to choose and give up to a proper analysis. Communication. You have to communicate with your bosses, with the clients again, or maybe you have to see the data again. Next, the result is requirement documents in the Confluence. These are like online software for data and project management. Okay. Next is after requirements, we have Jira tasks. These are exact tasks to be assigned to the team, the different members of the team. And who is responsible for it? The product managers. Now there comes senior tech leads of different departments. What they do, they go to the requirements again. They read the requirement documents. They understand their current platform. They understand what things, what tech stack we have available, what options we have available. Based on this, they create different tasks. And what skills are required? Again, critical thinking, planning, communication. You have to communicate. There's a lot of communication which happens in the real world. When you're creating those proper tasks based on the requirements, you have to understand it. And what is the output? The output is the Jira tasks. And the Jira tasks are for different departments. For example, there could be some backend tasks, API docs which needs to be created, design tasks. Then you have front-end tasks. Then you have ML tasks. If you have the MLT, then you have DevOps tasks. So all of this is created during this stage. Next comes the design. So I'm focusing more on front-end development right now. Basically, you're designing the screens, the workflows. Who is responsible? Designers, tech seniors. So here, designers and tech seniors, your tech leads, your managers, they talk to each other. They understand the system constraints, what are the flow we want, what are the limitations of the current system. So if you see, the core skills required here are, again, for the designers, it is core design skills. And they also need communication because they have to understand the problem right. They have to communicate the constraints properly. You have to have critical thinking to understand the edge cases scenarios, to understand the timeline. So it's not just about delivering the most optimized solution. It's about the best solution in a particular time frame constraint. And the output is the Figma files or the workflows. Next is development testing. So basically after design is done, now comes the coding part, the part with which this video has started. And I've combined both development and testing. Basically, they're separate, but just to keep it simple, I've kept it at a single level. So basically, development testing is coding and testing. Who is responsible? Both junior, senior developers, and the core dev skills are required. And you also need communication and critical thinking because a lot of miscommunication leads to a lot of issues. And it's not just you can't code, it's about you didn't understand the requirements properly. So what you get as the output is the code. Next is deployment. And for deployment, we are like basically deploying produced code on some AWS, GCP, or Azure, who is responsible? Mostly DevOps and senior devs. And you might be wondering why senior dev or front end or back end is required, because they have to sync up with the DevOps team. They have to analyze, okay, which variables, environment variables are there, and how we are planning to host it, where, what are the resources, what is the status of the current tasks. So all of this is required. And the skills again are core developer skills, core DevOps skills, communication, and critical thinking. So communication is always there. Then you get the live web app. Next is maintainability. You try to maintain the whole application. The goal is keep it running. Who is responsible? All. What skills are required? All. Then you get the profitable app. By the way, none of this goes as planned. On paper, software development looks very clean. In real life, it's more like we planned A, started B, and somehow shipped C. And do you know what actually happens when something breaks? The PM says, that's not what I meant. The designer says, that's not what I designed. And the developer says, that's exactly what you gave me. It's a complete chaos. How you actually survive this? Most bugs aren't coding bugs. They are communication bugs that just happen to show up in code. Software development isn't about following a perfect process. It's about navigating chaos with clarity, communication, and empathy. Let's back to the topic. So, if you observe carefully, there are three common skills. One thing which is common among all the layers is communication. It is very important. Next is critical thinking. Your brain should function, right? It should function right. Next is core skills, your core dev skills, design skills, DevOps skills. And just listed down again, three skills which you should focus and everyone should focus in 2026 and in general also is communication, critical thinking, and your core skills.